Taehyung is already home, with his adorable Jungkook. Did you notice Taehyung's scarf at the airport? That blue scarf he had tied to his bag yesterday as he left Paris, and that today, with an almost symbolic gesture, he wore around his waist to make it more visible. That simple detail said more than it seemed. It was as if he wanted everyone to know that his heart was already on its way back home, where Jungkook awaits him. The adorable teddy bear and the red cord were also there, discreet but full of meaning. Taehyung always carries his fire Jungkook with him, with every step, on every flight, in every glance he exchanges with those following him. At the airport, with that blue scarf gently waving, we saw once again what we've always known: Taekook needs each other, they search for each other even in crowds. They are like two pieces of a puzzle that fate insists on keeping together. Our Taekook babies, that duo of water and fire that complements each other so naturally, are together again. Imagine how much they've missed each other, how many glances have been paused, waiting for this reunion. Just thinking about it fills the heart with tenderness. I hope you enjoy a wonderful Chuseok together, that moment of rest and gratitude under the moon, when everything seems warmer and closer. We want you to know that we love you, that we miss you, and that your happiness illuminates ours. Taehyung was absolutely radiant. It's impossible not to love him. There was something about his smile, something so sincere, so full of relief, that made it impossible not to smile with him. At the airport, he looked happy, genuinely happy. Coming home after intense days, after touring, cameras, and lights, and knowing that Jungkook is waiting for you there, must feel like returning to the place where everything makes sense. Watching him move among the people, waving, peeking behind the rope with his characteristic sweetness, was a reminder of why Taehyung is so loved, so precious. Every gesture of his speaks of closeness, of warmth, of that humanity that transcends any screen. How joyful that his schedule is over, that he can rest, breathe, and enjoy the last day of Chuseok with Jungkook. It's as if the universe has given them this time to reconnect, to share laughter and silence, to simply be themselves. Seeing Taehyung so happy, so full of life, is a gift. And I hope that next time the airport offers him a safer, more comfortable space, so that his smile doesn't have to struggle amidst the noise and barriers. Because in the end, the most beautiful thing is this: seeing Taehyung return home, knowing that somewhere, behind the lights and cameras, Jungkook is waiting for him. And in every small detail, a blue scarf, a teddy bear, a red string, lies a silent story, that of two souls who always find each other, even amidst the chaos of the world. Taehyung's Weber's post was one of those little gems that, without the need for grand words, managed to touch the hearts of those who know his unique way of communicating. With his characteristic touch of sweetness and elegance, he wished a simple yet meaningful happy Chuseok. However, behind that simple and seemingly innocent phrase, there was a deeper intention, a gesture that resonated intensely with those who closely follow every detail of his world. Because Taehyung, with his distinctive subtlety, not only shared a greeting, but also a clue laden with symbolism, he posted Jeon pancakes. Jeon, those traditional Korean savory pancakes, are much more than a typical dish. They are a tangible expression of family unity, gratitude, and the prosperity celebrated on Chuseok, the holiday that brings families together to give thanks for the year's bounty. During those days, homes are filled with the sound of oil sizzling in the pans, the aroma of fresh vegetables, fish, or meat blending with the dough, and the laughter of those who, together, prepare each piece with dedication and love. Preparing Jeon isn't just about cooking, it's about sharing. It's about remembering that the value of everyday life is found in small acts of love and togetherness. And that was precisely what made Taehyung's post not go unnoticed. Because while many saw only a photo of traditional food, others perceived the hidden message behind the gesture. On a day meant for family, he chose to show something that represents exactly that: the warmth of home, togetherness, the presence of those we consider an essential part of our lives. Perhaps, but those who have followed Taekook's story know that in his world, coincidences are rarely a given. Taehyung has always known how to communicate through details, those small gestures that speak louder than 1,000 words. His post was one of those silent but eloquent signs, one of those ways he so characteristically expressed, "I'm thinking of someone special." And that's when many remembered that phrase he once let slip, "Jungkook is my family." In a context as intimate as Chuseok, where family is everything, Taehyung's words take on new meaning. Could there be a more subtle and beautiful way to reaffirm that bond? Taekook's love has always had that delicate, almost ethereal quality, manifested in the implicit, in that which doesn't need to be explained. His glances, his gestures, his natural synchronicities, everything speaks for itself. Taehyung's post was one of those silent declarations that only those who truly understand them can capture. Because when he shares something on a day that symbolizes unity and belonging, it's not difficult to perceive who he's thinking of. The jeon, which are prepared in every home to bless the family, in his hands become a symbol of connection and love. Chuseok is the time of year when families gather together, embrace, and celebrate what they've built together. And Taehyung, with a simple gesture, once again revealed who he considers part of his inner circle. Not with direct words, but with the warmth of a picture that speaks volumes. It's his way of expressing what he feels without needing to speak it. As if each post, each detail, were a coded message that only those who look with their hearts can understand. Taehyung, with his story woven with shared moments and eloquent silences, continues to show that true love isn't always spoken out loud. Sometimes it reveals itself in everyday life, in a photo posted at just the right moment, in a traditional dish that symbolizes togetherness. And so, a simple happy Chuseok post becomes an act filled with tenderness, a silent confirmation that his connection remains alive, strong, and authentic. Because Taehyung, once again, clearly showed who his heart belongs to. He did it in his own way, with that blend of elegance, subtlety, and sincerity that only he possesses. And though some may try to deny it, the truth is there, in every gesture, in every shared glance, in every detail that unites them. Taekook's love is always present, constant, palpable, like a melody that never stops playing for those who know how to listen. And while the world celebrates the abundance and unity of Chuseok, Taehyung reminds us, without words, that love, true love, can also be celebrated like this, with a shared plate, a silent memory, and a look that says more than any public declaration. Because sometimes, the heart doesn't need to speak, it only needs to show itself. One of the most powerful things about Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship is the way they communicate without speaking. It's a silent, almost imperceptible language that seems to have been built over time, based on recognizable glances and gestures that are understood without explanation. Many observe from the outside and believe that everything that happens between them is part of fan service, a choreography designed for the cameras, a performance meant to entertain. But you only have to look a little closer to notice that there's something different about the way they look at each other, the way their movements sync up naturally, without rehearsal or script. That subtle, almost invisible difference is what separates the acted from the genuine. What happens between them can't be faked. Every gesture, every touch, every shared smile seems to have its own weight, a story behind it. There's such a disarming naturalness in their way of being together that it feels as if the world around them disappears for a few moments. There are no cameras, no audience, no spectacle, just the two of them and a connection that seems spoken in another language. What unites them is not noise or exposure, but silence. A silence full of meaning, trust, and presence. And it is in that silence that their deepest truth is revealed, that of a bond that needs no explanation, because it is built on the simplest sincerity. But there is something more behind that naturalness. Something that not everyone notices. In the midst of public life, of stages and lights, small gestures become refuges. A gaze held for a second longer than usual, a shared laugh that breaks the routine, a slight touch that seems accidental, but isn't. It is these everyday moments that keep their connection alive, like an invisible thread that unites them regardless of the context. Because when a relationship is sustained by authenticity, every detail becomes a symbol, every action contains a story. Thus, a simple happy Chuseok post is not just a festive greeting. It's an act filled with tenderness, a discreet way of remembering that they're still there, present in each other's lives. A small message that, silently, speaks louder than 1,000 words. These kinds of gestures are what transform the ordinary into something transcendent, what turn routine into a shared language. These aren't declarations or overt demonstrations, but gestures that, when repeated, build an emotional narrative that only they seem to fully understand. The most revealing aspect of the bond between Taehyung and Jungkook isn't a single moment, but the sum of them all. Every instant, every seemingly casual exchange, is part of an invisible structure that sustains what they share. At first glance, it might seem like mere coincidence or spontaneity, but when you look closely, you discover a pattern. A particular way of looking at each other, of getting closer, of being. An emotional routine that repeats itself effortlessly, as if their souls had grown accustomed to meeting even in silence.